All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from Michigan. Jared Swaim and Kenny Passmore have the front row. Gerald Thanos Poole and Mark Nelson on the second row. Jeff Oakes and Jerry Bergeron on the third row. Gil Guac, Warren Moore on the fourth. Kevin Bruner and DJ the Iceman Kenner round out your top 10. Rod Potgieter and John Shermott starting 11th and 12th. Mark Bruning, Chuck Sweeting 13th and 14th. Tim St. Jean and Mike Burgess 15th and 16th. Derek Schilling starts next to Thomas Byram 17th and 18th. All the drivers getting on the grid, ready to go. Looks like everybody is there. The cars begin to roll. Eighteen drivers, 70 laps around the 2-mile D-shaped oval at Michigan. Everybody gets stacked up and ready to go. Out of turn 2, down the back straightaway. The pace car will pull in out of turn 4. And a lot of fast cars all the way through the field. This is one of those races anybody could pull off the win. As always, if you have a favorite driver in the field, don't forget to drop in the comments. Let us know who you're cheering for here tonight. Pace car is in. Here we go. Green flag is in the air. They are down and away in Michigan. Caleb Schilling cheering on Derek Schilling. Derek has had an impressive season coming from the back. Mark Nelson, points leader, up to third place. Everybody settling into line that first few laps. Everybody, the cold tires, everybody has been loose. Tim St. Jean appears to have had a problem. St. Jean is hard to the inside wall. He has towed it to pit road. One of the fastest cars out early. Let's see what happened. There is Tim. Out of turn 2, snaps loose right in front of Schilling. And hard to the inside. Taking a look down from the blimp. Way loose. Schilling just nowhere to go. Tried to check up. And St. Jean ends up in the wall. They were out of the racing surface, so no caution. Jared Swaim, meanwhile, out front, has set the fastest lap of the race with a 9/10 of a second lead over second place, Kenny Passmore. I don't think that lead is going to hold for very long. If these guys get lined up and start working together, fight their way back to the leader. Derek Schilling, we mentioned him running that from the back challenge. Already up 4 spots into 13th, reeling in Rod Podgeter last time by. Derek, the fastest car on the track. Kenny Passmore, Mark Nelson, Gerald Thanos Poole, and Jeff Oakes lined up 2nd through 4th, trying to reel in the leader, Jared Swaim. Everybody's still a little bit loose. 5 laps in, you saw it coming off turn 2 as DJ Kenner starting to make some moves toward the front. Comes by Warren Moore to take 8. Kevin Bruner lurking back there in 11th. Mark Bruning currently holds on in 10th. Most of the field nose to tail at the moment. Kenny Passmore was extremely fast in practice. Has been fast since they unloaded the car. He'll be one to watch as this thing goes on, and they have started closing the gap on Jared Swaim, now 3/4 of a second back. And good evening to Blakey Poo, Snickerdoodle Boo Boo. I miss you on Wednesday nights, Blake. Blake cheering on the Iceman, who is now up into 8th place. Mark Bruning now up 4 spots into 9th. And here comes Derek Schilling, now up to 13th. He was looking low through 3 and 4, trying to find a run on Podgeter. Kenny Passmore continuing to reel in Jared Swaim. Swaim out there all alone since the drop of the green. Mark Nelson now looks underneath. Kenny Oakes comes to the high side. Mark has a bit of a run out of 4, drops down to the apron. You heard Kevin Bruner mention it's unlikely we will see a caution here tonight. Tire and fuel strategy is going to be huge. Jeff Oates may have a run. He's got the nose in under Passmore. Gerald Poole right on his bumper. We'll try and follow him through. That little bit of battling has had a huge impact. Jared Swaim has pulled back out to almost a 1-second lead. Jeff Oakes now moves into 3rd. Thanos looking underneath to take 4th from Kenny Passmore, and that has allowed Jerry Berger, DJ Kenner, Gil Guanca, and Mark Bruning to close back in. Warren Moore, Kevin Bruner, Rod Podgeter, and Derek Schilling also coming forward with Chuck Sweeting in the group. Oh ho! Derek Schilling had a big problem out of turn 2. See what happened to Derek Schilling here, coming through 1 and 2 up on the high side. Gets a run on Podgeter. Oh, he tries to duck low. Looked like he had another problem a lap later. The car might be getting loose. Let's see what happened next time by. There goes Schilling back into 1 and 2 and has that run on Podgeter again. Everybody's still going. Schilling is right there. Blake, that concerns me a little bit too. Apparently the closed captioning person knows what I'm going to say before I say it. Gerald Poole now into 4th. Jerry Bergeron closing in at 5th. Kenny Passmore slipping back to 6th. Did he use up too much? No! Wow, what a sin! Big full sin there by Kenny Passmore as Thomas Byram is already on pit road. That is unexpected. Tim St. Jean still on pit road for repairs. Meanwhile, Mark Nelson, Jeff Oakes, Gerald Poole are reeling in the leader, Jared Swaim. Swaim now just 0.7 of a second ahead of the Mark Nelson. Lap times are starting to fall off as tires wear. I'm wondering if Byram has a different strategy than the rest of the field. Jared Swaim's fastest lap of 39.76. Last time by 41.41. Almost 2 seconds slower. Jeff Oakes in 3rd, Gerald Poole in 4th, Jerry Bergeron in 5th. The Iceman was wicked loose out of 2. Keeps his foot in it. Big run on Passmore. DJ now up into 6th. Passmore tries to fight back on the high side, but DJ clears. Gil Guanc, Mark Bruning closing in as well. Chuck Sweeting now to 10th. Derek Schilling now up 6 spots into 11th. Mike Burgess also up 2 spots into 14th. Warren Moore struggling a bit here in the early going. He is in 15th. Same with Shermott's back in 16th. Jared Swaim holds that gap about 0.7 of a second for the moment. Now remember, we talked about it earlier on, the fuel windows about 23 to 27 laps. Part of that will depend on how easy the driver has been on the car, but those slower lap times, definitely help extend that window. DJ Kenner now closing in on Bergeron in fifth. Thomas Byram is out of the race early. Tim St. Jean still in for repairs. Remember, Home Motorsports, they do not have a fast repair available. Drivers have to make the car last and keep it out of trouble. Gil Guant currently in ninth. Looks like Tim St. Jean's car, the engine has died. They will have to replace at minimum the oil pump and the radiator. Looks like the entire cooling section has gone out of that car. Mark Bruning on a charge here late. Mark now up into seventh and a big run on the Iceman. Now, Tim, while you're sitting on pit road, you want to make any predictions as to who's going to pull off the win here tonight? I honestly, based on practice, thought that Tim St. Jean would pull off the win here tonight. And it looks like pit stops are underway. Kevin Bruner and Warren Moore both in lap 21. Mark Nelson still holds about 7/10 of a second behind Jared Swaim. Swaim has led this race from the green flag. Jeff Oakes now into third. Gerald Poole trying to hold on to fourth, but Jerry Bergeron looks underneath and the Iceman is coming. DJ is on his way, so is Mark Bruning. Derek Schilling has dropped back a little bit, back in 12th, battling with Mike Burgess. Burgess, another one making a run here late in the first fuel run. Kevin Bruner back out on track, and you're about to see the difference in fresh tires. Holy cow! I think that might have been a glitch, but it looked like John Shermont's hood just came flying off. He does have a little bit of a blink. Tim St. Jean putting his bet on the Mark Nelson. As Mark Nelson is in, Jeff Oakes is in. Gerald Poole, Chuck Sweeting, Mike Burgess bringing it down. John Shermont may have lost connection. Lap 24, a large portion of the top 10 have come to pit road, but Jared Swaim continues to stay out. No, he is coming in. Jerry Bergeron coming in. DJ is coming in. It looks like they are all coming in. Derek Schilling will stay out and lead a lap. Schilling to the lead for the first time tonight. Kevin Bruner on the fresh tires, getting one of his laps back underneath Schilling. Mark Nelson, Jeff Oakes, That whole group is now back out on track. Jerry Bergeron rolls out, and Derek Schilling gives up the lead. He is in. A lot of cars coming back off of pit road right now. Jared Swaim has dropped back to third place for the moment. And Tim St. Jean looking like another 30 minutes before his repairs are completed. He may get back out, but it will be late. Mark Nelson has the lead, but Jeff Oakes is right there. Jared Swaim closing back in. Mark Nelson versus Jeff Oakes 2 seasons ago. The second half of that season, between these two drivers, it was back and forth week after week. Jeff Oakes had a rough start to the season, but managed to fight his way back. Almost winning the championship. Jared Swaim currently running in third. Chuck Sweeting now up into fourth. And it looks like Sweeting took right side tires only on that stop. Looks like he was the only driver to pull that move, but it gained him a ton of track position. The question is, will it last as Gerald Thanos Poole closes in? Thanos does have a bit of an advantage. He's able to put some of that Navy Joe JP5 coffee in the gas, and man, it's almost like adding nitrous to your tank. Jared Swaim has taken second back from Oakes. Now sets his sights on the Mark Nelson. Mike Burgess is back on pit road. Looks like it may be repairs or potentially a penalty. The car was not up getting tires. Meanwhile, Swaim is now right to the bumper on Mark. Gerald Poole now up into fourth. Sweeting still holding on to fifth. Jerry Bergeron in sixth. DJ Kenner seventh. Kenny Passmore in eighth. Mark Bruning in ninth. Gil Guac has 10th. Rod Potgieter in 11th with Derek Schilling in 12th. But keep in mind, Schilling has the freshest tires by several laps. Kevin Brunner back in 13th. Warren Moore in 14th. Mike Burgess out of the race. And a battle for the lead down the front straightaway. Swaim goes to the bottom as they head off into 1 and 2. Jared Swaim gets the lead back. Mark Nelson, though, looks back underneath down the back straightaway. And guys, if you want to see one of the most epic battles you'll ever see on a racetrack, go look at last night's C12 Motorsports race from New Hampshire. Watch the oval race on our YouTube channel. Around lap 25, they ended up with about half a dozen cars battling for the lead side by side non-stop. Jerry Bergeron is closing the gap on Chuck Sweeting, but Sweeting for the moment able to hang with Gerald Poole. DJ Kenner closing in as well. Last time by, pretty much what we would expect. Derek Schilling has the freshest tires. He is the fastest on track at the moment. He's about 1.5 seconds behind 11th place, Rod Pontgeter, and closing in. Mark Bruning battling with Kenny Passmore. That is the battle for 8th. Still trying to close the gap on the Iceman. DJ Kenner up in 7th. And the beautiful unicorn cheering on the Mark Nelson. No, it's not DeCarlo's paint scheme. It is similar though, Frank. Gerald did, I do believe Gerald did both his and DeCarlo's paint schemes. That Flaming Karma paint shop has been busy. Don't forget, immediately following this race, you can see the beautiful unicorn doing a little Euro trucking tonight. And the Mark Nelson will be joining her. Tune in for a few laughs and who knows what other chaos. Jared Swaim still in the lead. Remember, folks, they will need a second pit stop for fuel. Chuck Sweeting just got by Gerald Poole to take 5th back. Jerry Bergeron now up into 4th. Extremely impressive run for Sweeting after only taking right side tires on that last stop. Jared Swaim in the lead, but has not been able to pull a gap. This time, Mark Nelson staying right with him. Jeff Oakes just a little bit behind. Jerry Bergeron closing in. Derek Schilling continuing to try and run down Pontgeter. Guac and everybody ahead. The top two are starting to pull away just a little bit. Mike Burgess, John Shermotts, Thomas Byram, and Tim St. Jean, all 4 out early. Still 14 cars on track, all of them on the lead lap. Kevin Brunner, Warren Moore both came to pit road without much drafting help. Chuck Sweeting still trying to hold off Gerald Poole. Gerald has a run now. DJ Kenner closing back up as well. Still, if Sweeting makes it to his pit stop, holding on about 6th or 7th place, that strategy move, right side tires, and all the track position it gave him will definitely be a huge payoff. DJ Kenner still right there on Sweeting's bumper. Mark Bruning, Kenny Passmore closing in. Derek Schilling losing a little bit of ground to Rod Podgeter. Podgeter in 11th. Not making up very much on 10th place, Gil Guac at the moment. Swayman Nelson continue to stay pretty much nose to tail. Jeff Oakes now in third, 1.6 seconds back. Bergeron in fourth, about 4.9 seconds back. Then you got Gerald Poole, Chuck Sweeting, DJ Kenner, all right there together. Mark Bruning, Kenny Passmore also trying to close that gap. And Gil Guac closing in from 10th. As this field spreads out, it is getting more and more likely that this race will go green to checkers. However, anything could happen, especially with one more pit cycle to go. And for some of these drivers, we are just a few laps away. Mark Nelson, Jeff Oakes, Gerald Poole, Chuck Sweeting all should be in here in about 2 laps. Jared Swaim will be able to stretch it a couple laps further. Derek Schilling went the furthest on that first run. We are likely not going to see him in until lap 50. Chuck Sweeting, if he comes in here in about 2 laps, as we expect, that strategy will have played out perfectly for him and gained him a ton of track position. He started in 14th, currently running in 7th. Warren Moore is in. I expect to see Kevin Bruner in any time. We expect to see Mark Nelson, Jeff Oaks, several others here in the next time by. Every one of these drivers has to get their pit road entry, their rundown pit road. Everything has to be perfect. They cannot afford a speeding penalty or a mistake this late in the race. Kevin Bruner is on his way down pit road. And Mark Nelson is in. Gerald Poole coming in as well. Surprisingly, Chuck Sweeting and Jeff Oaks both stayed out. Gil Guag, Kenny Passmore also coming in. Hey, good evening, Wolf. How are you, buddy? And here we go, the top two. Jared Swaim is in. Jeff Oaks is in. Bergeron stays out. DJ stays out. Chuck Sweeting is in. Mark Bruning is in. Hey, I appreciate it, Wolf. Jerry Bergeron, DJ Kenner, Derek Schilling, your top three still have to come in. Expect Schilling to stretch further than anybody. Jerry Bergeron, DJ Kenner are in. Mark Nelson is back out on track ahead of Jared Swaim and Jeff Oaks. Rod Potgieter rolling back out as Derek Schilling comes down the back straightaway. We don't expect Schilling to be in for another lap or two. That will put him on the freshest set of tires by several laps. Oh no! Schilling is in! That was a bit of a surprise. I expected Schilling to go 1 to 2 more laps. He is still coming in later than everybody else as Mark Nelson reclaims the lead. Jared Swaim lost some time on pit road. He is now 2.5 seconds back in second. Jeff Oaks 5 seconds back in third, but look at Sweeting. Chuck Sweeting now in fourth, 4 fresh tires. What a brilliant strategy by Sweeting here tonight. Starting at 14th, did a 2-tire first stop, now up into 4th. Gerald Thanos Poole still holds on to 5th. Jerry Bergeron in 6th. The Iceman holds 7th. Gil Guag in 8th. Kenny Passmore in 9th. Mark Bruning in 10th. Rod Potgieter in 11th, but Schilling right on his bumper in 12th. Kevin Bruner back in 13th. Warren Moore, the first car, 1 lap down in 14th. Jared Swaim is closing the gap little by little on the leader. Jeff Oakes is not gaining any ground, but Chuck Sweeting sure is. He is 1.6 back from Jeff Oakes. Gerald Poole back in 5th. Jerry Berger in 6th. The Iceman in 7th. And DJ is closing in on most of the cars ahead. Gil Guanc in 8th. Kenny Passmore 9th. Mark Bruning in 10th. Swaim has reeled in Mark Nelson. He is 1.6 seconds back, though. Has only gained about a second since the pit stop. Jared Swaim has just one win this season. Mark Nelson has 4. Could tonight be number 5? In fact, we've only had 3 winners this season: Mark Nelson, Jared Swaim, and Kevin Bruner. Laps to go here at Michigan. DJ Kenner still on the bumper of Jerry Bergeron. Both of them closing the gap on Gerald Poole. Chuck Sweeting about 1.4 seconds back from 3rd place. Jeff Oakes, he is still closing in. If Sweeting pulls off a top 5 here, that will be the move of the night. But if he pulls off a podium, if he can catch up to Oakes and pass him, man, he would be a genius. That strategy, 99% of the time, wouldn't work, but tonight it has. Gerald Poole, Jerry Berger, and DJ Kenner all right there together. Gil Guanc, Kenny Passmore, Mark Bruning closing in. And you see all the drivers taking very distinctly different lines around this track. Watching from the Iceman's in-car camera into 1 and 2. Bergeron and Poole up top. Bergeron pulls down late out of turn 2. Built a big run down the back straightaway off into turn 3. Bergeron goes for the middle. Gerald stayed up top. And to the outside coming out of 4. Gerald Poole losing a couple of spots there. Is now Bergeron to 5th. DJ to 6th. Gerald looking back underneath. Chuck Sweeting less than a second behind Jeff Oakes now. Gil Guanc still holding on to 8th, but Passmore and Bruning right behind him, 9th and 10th. As DJ Kenner now looking underneath Bergeron for 5th. Mark Nelson still out front, just over a 1 second lead on Swaim. Across the line, 10 laps to go at Michigan. Mark's lead holding steady about 1 second. Jeff Oakes in third. Chuck Sweeting in fourth. Jerry Bergeron in fifth, but DJ looks underneath. Mark's lead still holding, actually extended that time by 1 1/4 seconds. Jeff Oakes now has Chuck Sweeting right behind him. Chuck is still closing the gap. Jerry Bergeron for the moment holds off the Iceman. Thanos loses a little bit of ground as Mark Bruning looks underneath Gil Guak to take 8th. Guak now to holy cow, Kenny. Hold on to her, buddy. Kenny Passmore managing to slide by and take 9th. Close call. Derek Schilling up into 11th. After starting in 17th, a great run for him tonight as Sweeting has just taken 3rd. Without a caution, he can't catch the top 2, but man, what a move tonight from Chuck Sweeting. Started in 14th, currently runs in 3rd. Mark Nelson's lead holding at 1 1/4 seconds over Swaim. Chuck Sweeting starting to pull a gap on 4th place. Jeff Oakes. Jerry Bergeron about 3 seconds back. In 5th, DJ Kenner right there with him. Gerald Poole did lose some ground, still holds on to 7th. Mark Bruning back in 8th, about 4 1/4 seconds back. Kenny Passmore managing to hold on to 9th. Gil Guak in 10th. Derek Schilling back in 11th. Rod Potgieter in 12th. An unusual run for Kevin Bruner, currently in 13th. I think this might actually be his first time outside the top 10 this season. It is. Four laps to go for the Mark Nelson. Has a 1.3 second lead. And I do believe everybody should be good to go on fuel. Just checking some numbers based on their previous stops. The only one I'd be worried about would be Kevin Bruner. He last stopped on lap 46. 3 laps to go for Mark Nelson. He has extended his lead on Swain to 2 seconds. Sweeting still running him down. 8 seconds back though. Jerry Berger and DJ Kenner still battling for 5th. Mark Nelson down the back straightaway. DJ still looking low. That is the closest battle right now. But here we go. White flag is in the air one more time around for the Mark Nelson, looking for his 5th win of the season here tonight. He started in 4th, not his best qualifying run, quickly moved up to 2nd. Took the lead after the 2nd pit stop and never looked back. Through 3 and 4, one last time down the front straightaway, the Mark Nelson wins at Michigan. Jared Swain comes home in 2nd, and Chuck Sweeting, man, coming home in 3rd. What a run for him. Jeff Oakes in 4th. Jerry Bergeron coming home in 5th. DJ Kenner, Gerald Poole, Mark Bruning, Kenny Passmore, and Gil Guac round out your top 10. And let's see if we can get a word with our winner. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to both Jared and Chuck in a few moments. But let's start it off by talking to the Mark Nelson. Mark, win number 5, and I think I'm right in saying that is the most wins ever for a driver in the home motorsports season.
Oh, is that true? I did not know that.
I do believe so. At least in the Oval or Xfinity Series, that is the case.
Well, all right. That's awesome.
And a dominant win next week being the final race of the season, but I think you pretty much locked it up tonight.
You might be right, and that's probably a good thing because Daytona means a sure death for me usually.
Man, it was an awesome run. You obviously were conserving the car a little bit the first half of the race, but the second half, man, you were gone.
Yeah, I was actually a little surprised at how well equal we were. I wasn't holding anything back, to be honest with you. I mean, Jared pretty much had my number, and he had the advantage of clean air. I think that was absolutely key in this race. If you were in front, you had a huge advantage, and it was kind of frustrating if you weren't in the lead. But as soon as I would get about 20 laps of my tires, it just kept trying to spin out on me, and that's something that always really slows me down. So, yeah, I was honestly expecting Jared to win, but somehow I got it done.
Oh, man, congratulations. I have to say, after Tim wrecked out, he predicted you to win. He was definitely right. And you need to have Tim predict you to win in all future races. That seems to work for you.
I'll have a talk with him.
Great job, buddy. We'll see you in Europe here shortly.
Okie dokie. Catch the next plane.
The Mark Nelson pulls off the win at Michigan. Congratulations to Jared Swaim. And man, what a gutsy run, gutsy strategy by Chuck Sweeting to bring it home in third. What an awesome night of racing. Michigan always puts on a great show, and man, we enjoyed the heck out of it. Now, folks, don't go anywhere. We'll sign off for just a few moments, but the Unicorn will be back in just a few with some Euro trucking. Hope everybody had as much fun as we did. We'll see you in Europe in a few. Have a great night, everybody.